Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and I almost didn't publish this video. Let's backtrack. March of last year, I went on an amazing trip with a ton of my closest friends from college, and along that trip, we went on a road trip together from Seattle to Portland, Oregon. And for this trip, I had incredibly ambitious plans. You see, there are dozens of used LEGO stores, and I mean dozens, along the drive from Seattle, Washington to Portland, Oregon. For some reason, I don't know why this area is so highly densely populated in terms of LEGO used stores literally 20 to 15 minutes away from each other, but there's a lot. And I had a full schedule mapped out, I had a full plan, I even got my friends on board for a few short detours along the way to our road trip, and everything was fully set. That was going to be an incredibly amazing video that summarized probably the biggest LEGO shopping road trip I will ever go on. So what happened, you may ask? Well, by location 4 or 5, I started not feeling too good. And by not feeling too good, I mean couldn't stay awake while driving on the freeway and literally couldn't keep my eyes open because I was feeling dead exhausted and sick. Which normally never happens to me. But because of some extenuating circumstances, our entire party got sick, not naming any names as to why all of us magically got sick. It's not like one person showed up sick. But anyways, what happened is that we were taking the drive from Seattle down to Oregon, and as we're nearing Oregon, I'd hit location number 5, and I was starting to feel really sick, and everyone was coughing. It was not a good time. So on the drive from Seattle to Portland, I had planned to hit around 6 or 7 different locations. We got 4 or 5 and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling sick, y'all are feeling sick. Let's just take it easy, we'll go home, get some rest, and then tomorrow, bright and early, we're gonna resume and actually be ready to embark on this journey together. Yeah, that didn't happen. So we went to bed, woke up feeling even worse than before, had to actually get somebody else to drive us back because none of us were in driving condition. And yeah, eventually my entire grand plans for a massive LEGO shopping road trip throughout Oregon were basically cut in less than half. And because of this, I honestly got so demoralized, I wasn't even planning on making this video at all. I do still want to actually go on my original plan for that road trip in the future and make it a full-on video. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing. And I am making plans with some of my friends and members of Team Duckbricks to actually do it, maybe even later this year. But until that happens, I was like, okay, you know what? I still managed to hit like 4 or 5 used LEGO stores on this trip, which is still more than I hit on most LEGO shopping trips. So why not actually just still put out the video? Here's the thing. Since I wasn't actually planning on putting out this video, what I did is that basically all the LEGO sets that I bought in that haul, like I bought a ton of LEGO at those 4 or 5 stores, I just built them and put them on my shelves. Like one of them's up there, one of them's over there. So really, unfortunately, I don't really have a haul. Like I do, but I just never filmed it because I was really sick. I got home, the haul stayed in storage for months. I finally built it over the course of several months and just started scattering the pieces around my collection where it made sense to put them. So I kind of vaguely remember at least some of the sets I got. I got like the rarest LEGO pirate ship set that I didn't own, which was the one with the green hull. I got the LEGO Arctic original base. I got like a Western kind of Native American styled teepee set. I got a lot of stuff, but some of them are still being built, some of them are on the shelves, so I don't really have a haul for the end of this video. This is more kind of capturing the journey and showcasing some of the used LEGO stores I went to. Most of them are Bricks and Minifigs locations, but some of them are different ones. And if you're curious, I do have, I believe, my list of the original plan, which I'm happy to put in the description below because I still would love to do that original plan one day. But so, without further ado, let's jump into this very ill-fated, ideal LEGO shopping road trip, which turned into more of a LEGO sick road trip. So once we had gathered our group together, we were ready to set off from Seattle going all the way down to Oregon. But first, there were actually a couple of places in Washington I wanted to hit up first before we actually made the trip down. One of those first places was Bricks and Wheels, a used LEGO store in Kent, Washington. This was actually kind of in the opposite direction, but I convinced the boys to just take a quick detour with me as we popped by Bricks and Wheels, which I had heard of a lot before. I had gone at least a couple of times, but hadn't really gotten a chance to really explore in full, and also never really got a chance to put out a video on it, so I figured why not just do this as part of the trip to really just maximize the number of locations. And little did I know that this would be just the first of a few locations instead of the first on a very long list. Now, Bricks and Wheels has a crazy selection of sets, and this I will say is probably one of the most insane LEGO set selections that I've ever seen in a used store, especially in this area for Washington. They've got sealed sets from all sorts of different eras of LEGO, a ton of used sets, and to be honest, the things are not really that well organized. Like, they've got some groupings of themes, like for instance the Star Wars sets are all together, and you have a bit of a section for City and whatnot, but they just simply had so much inventory that it was really hard to just find things, and I kept thinking that there were things that I was missing just randomly tucked away in bins here and there, that there were just so many bins of pieces and half-built sets scattered all around. It was pretty difficult to actually find different LEGO sets in this particular store because they just had such a crazy selection. Now, unfortunately, the store prices were a little bit closer to eBay versus Bricklink. If you look on eBay and you look at specific LEGO sets, you're probably going to find sets that are going to be really expensive, and the prices here were pretty high. They weren't as bad as I've seen them in other stores, but it was pretty high, and they did really just only price match with eBay and didn't really price match with Bricklink, at least from what I asked. So I didn't end up getting a ton from this store. I believe I just got a smaller LEGO Dino Attack set, and I did get one of the larger Star Wars sets. I believe it was the original 2006 Clone Turbo Tank, but outside of that, that was pretty much all that I got from this store because I was expecting to be spending a lot more going forwards. Still, it was really cool to be able to explore the store itself and be able to actually check out all the different used and discontinued LEGO items they had. It was really cool being able to actually witness all of these different bits and pieces factored into the store, and I just had a really fun time just exploring the store itself and seeing the absolutely crazy selection they had. But we had no time to waste because then it was time to really embark on the road trip to Oregon. And so, after making a few quick pit stops at a local Barnes & Noble's, which actually had a pretty good selection of LEGO sets, particularly some that were on sale for 25% off, which I thought was actually a really good deal, as well as a quick stop at Joanne Fabrics because I happened to see the LEGO logo inside the store itself, where you can see there was absolutely nothing of interest inside the store itself, but you know, that's locations number 2 and 3 on the list. It was then time to go to location number 4, and that was Math and Stuff in Seattle, Washington. Now, this was a really interesting store because obviously it is not just a standard LEGO store, it is mostly just a general toy store, but they did have a LEGO section, and to me the most interesting thing there was a sealed copy of the LEGO Boost set, which I didn't own, and I actually was able to pick up the LEGO Boost set from this store. They did have a number of other somewhat recent discontinued sets, like a couple of LEGO Movie 2 sets from 2019 and whatnot, so I guess they had some older sets, but for the most part, all they had were just the modern set selection, minus a couple of sets from just a few years ago that they still had available for sale. Still, it was great to be able to explore the store. I had heard a lot of good things about Math and Stuff and their LEGO set selection, and as you can see, they have more LEGO sets than pretty much a standard LEGO store here, which is pretty crazy, just the sheer variety of different themes they had, including some of the newer stuff, some older stuff, but for the most part, nothing super interesting, other than a ton of new polybags, which I definitely did manage to get. I picked up pretty much a copy of every single polybag I did not own yet here, so that was really great to be able to get a ton more polybags that were brand new for this year in 2023 and beyond. Loved seeing those, but overall, nothing much else of interest in Math and Stuff other than just a standard toy store. And of course, from there, we had a long drive ahead. And when I say a long drive, I mean a long drive, because then it was time to make the trek over from Washington State to Oregon. And you see, going from Washington to Oregon was a pretty good length of a trek. There were a few other LEGO stores scattered in between, but I decided to skip those because I wanted to hit them on the way back, just so I would have extra room in my trunk in case I wanted to get anything extra from those really good stores, which of course, sadly, never happened, but there's always the next time. I might go again with some Team Duckbricks members. But soon enough, after about an hour or so, hour and a half of driving, we were able to come up to the next store, which was the next certified used LEGO store on this list. This is the BrickHouse, located in Olympia, Washington. This was the first of many massive dedicated used LEGO stores on our list, at least from going from Seattle to Oregon. Now, they had a ton of LEGO sets that I especially wanted to get, and it was really cool to be able to cross off a ton of items from my collection that I had been wanting for years, but never actually got to pick up until now. One of the most important ones that I got was the Crossbone Clipper, which is one of the smaller LEGO pirate ships, but for whatever reason, one of the rarest ones as well, featuring a unique dual-molded green and black hull which was exclusive to the set, as well as a sail that only appeared in one other set. This set me back around $300, which if you look on Bricklink is a little bit cheaper than the cheapest price it is available for sale right now, $400. Not as good as I thought it would be, definitely for a really small ship. It was a very high price to pay, but it is so rare, which is why why I definitely wanted to pick it up. I also was able to get a copy of the original LEGO Arctic base, although unfortunately after rebuilding it at home, I realized it was missing a ton of pieces and didn't actually come with the original base plates, so that was a little disappointing. I probably should have checked that before I actually bought it. The sets were sold as is, so I definitely just should have done my own due diligence. I also got a Native American set from the Western lineup, which is one of the older LEGO sets that I definitely still needed to get from the Western line, a couple of Arctic vehicles, and a grab bag full of random Bionicle pieces, which was actually priced really well because it did include a ton of specialized masks, which was really great to see. Overall, this was pretty much one of the first stops on the list. We literally arrived just as they opened, and while it was good to see the selection here, I definitely was looking for even better deals, and then it was time to move on to the next store. And for the next store, we went to our first Bricks and Minifigs of the trip, and that was Bricks and Minifigs Portland. Now this is kind of the main Bricks and Minifigs that is in Portland itself, which is a really cool one to be able to go to. What really sucked was that I literally went in the store and immediately upon entering, I discovered the exact Crossbone Clipper set selling for only $175. So that was quite unfortunate because I had literally just bought it for $300 at the store prior. You always have to take the gamble when you come to like used LEGO stores, but that one especially hurt because, oh man, that was definitely walking in the store and seeing that after having spent $300 on the same set was very unfortunate. But, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. Now at Bricks and Minifigs Portland, there was actually a really solid selection of different types of sets. I picked up the Minecraft Fortress set, which I had recreated with my own LEGO pieces, but it wasn't quite the same, especially without the printed banners, so I wanted to get a copy of the Fortress set, so I got that one. I also got another copy of the G2 Toa Onua. I already own him, but I figured it might be good as a Bionicle fan and contest prize one day, which I'm actually still holding on to this day. I still have it fully complete and set aside in my closet, so maybe that will be a future fan and contest prize. I'll have to wait and see, not really sure exactly what scenario that one I can sell it for, but it was at a fairly good price, so I wanted to pick it up as a future contest prize. And overall, Bricks and Minifigs Portland was a really good destination to go to. It is not actually the flagship Bricks and Minifigs store. That one is located in Canby, Oregon, which I used to go to a ton of times as a kid, but unfortunately got too sick to go this time, much to my chagrin, because that I was really looking forward to. Some of the most interesting items there that I did not pick up were this LEGO Mindstorms for School set, which I thought was really interesting to see. Never seen that before. A LEGO Education Dacta set. Honestly, probably should have picked these up. I don't really know what I was doing, but again, I was on limited luggage space, so I kind of just had to optimize based on what I could choose. I really loved seeing some of the mocks that they had displayed around the store as well, like a massive dragon from Game of Thrones, as well as a full-on cityscape, which was really cool to be able to see. But I'm gonna be completely honest, this was location number 6, technically really only location number 3 in terms of actual used LEGO stores, and while I was intending to hit 15 to 20 or some crazy amount of stores, I was starting to feel really tired at this time. My friends were noticing I was literally falling asleep at the wheel, which I never do, and we were starting to get quite worried about my chances of surviving through the day, and also all of our chances if I was driving us around. So they quickly advised that we probably should only go to one more stop and then just take it easy at the hotel, which was very good advice. You can probably tell that I was so out of it at this point because I literally only took 2 photos at the store. In fact, the first storefront photo I had to get from Google Images because I literally didn't take a picture of the front of the store. This was Bricks and Minifigs in Vancouver, Washington, and yeah, I was so out of it at this point. I don't remember what I bought. I think that I got the Harry Potter Graveyard Duel set because that like appeared in my bag afterwards, so I'm gonna guess that's what I got, but wow, that was really bad. I was really starting to feel kind of sick at this point, and we were like, you know what, let's just call it good and go on back to the hotel. Went to the hotel, got a chance to play some games, which was really great. I was already quite out of it at this point, and then it was over because I just fell asleep and woke up the next day feeling incredibly sick. So unfortunately, the trip itself was really cut short, and I kind of feel sad because there are so many other different used LEGO stores in the Washington area that I really wanted to visit. First off, other Bricks and Minifigs locations, like there's one in Beaverton, Oregon. There's also the flagship one in Canby, Oregon, which I really wanted to go to. Didn't get to go to that. There's the Toy Box Collectibles in Lacey, Washington. I was planning on hitting that on my way back. Did not get to hit that either. And then there's a string of used LEGO stores in Washington State that I really wanted to hit on my way back, like Sasquatch Bricks in University Place, Washington, Connect the Brick in Tacoma, Washington, Brick by Brick in Spokane, Washington. Literally all of these were on my list and I just didn't get to go because I was just so sick and we just had to quickly go on back home. So unfortunately kind of cut short in terms of the trip itself. Definitely now I need to go back. I now know I need to go back because I have so many good memories of going to used Lego stores over the years in all sorts of different places, and I would love to redo this trip and actually do it right this time. But sadly, after one last meal at Din Tai Fung and I was barely surviving through that, it was time to go on home, and we took a few days to rest and recuperate. So that about sums up this road trip adventure in Oregon. Honestly, a little bit anticlimactic for the ending because I was expecting this to have a huge finale finish and showcase a massive haul, and while I did get a pretty sizable haul, again, I was so sick that I just kind of threw it in a closet and forgot that I got all these sets from this haul, built them, and added them to my collection. So unfortunately, sorry to disappoint. I definitely should have done more forward planning for this sort of trip. It was also a trip with my friends, so I was kind of half doing it for a video and also half just doing it to hang out with my friends, so didn't really get as much content as I wanted to get in terms of footage, but I certainly will do this again in the future and make a dedicated used Lego shopping road trip, so stay tuned for that in the future. And I hope you enjoyed this look at my kind of ill-fated latest Lego road trip video. Okay, with that we have summed up my little experience trying to travel to a lot of used Lego stores and only hitting a few because of extenuating circumstances. Hopefully you enjoyed this journey from Seattle down to Portland, being able to experience some of the used Lego stores. By all accounts, I missed the best ones. Like, I was planning on hitting some of the really good ones on the way back because I wasn't hoping to have to carry all of the stuff in my car and then put them in the hotel and then go back. So I was like, oh, I'll hit them on the drive back, but that never happened. So I really do actually need to do this. I would love to do it at some point, maybe later this year. I might convince my boy Jake, a member of Team Duckbricks, to go with me and actually do this amazing trip. But as it is right now, that was my journey, used Lego shopping on a road trip. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Duckbricks. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more Lego news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. And bye for now.